Hili hili hale khutma ha min hoyawish. Nim hoyawish Shonna. Gaisna nim khot banayu. So for this video, we're going to be going over H stems, also called harmonic stems. But before we begin, we're going to just do a quick review over the A stems and the pronouns. So starting off with eagle, we have wutshul, wutshula, bu, bu'a for red-tailed hawk, bu, bu'a, ilik, ilka for water, ilik, ilka. Rattlesnake, nasis, nasa, nasis, nasa. For river, wakai, wakaya, wakai, wakaya. For a hill or mountain, dolol, dola, dolol, dola. For the number 1, yet, yeta, yet, yeta. For number 2, bonoi, bonyo, bonoi, bonyo. For 3, shopin, shopina, shopin, shopina. And we know that these are A stems because when this particular word is in its object form, it gets that A at the end. Or occasionally, as we see in bonoi, bonyo, it'll get an O. Alright, so reviewing quickly over our pronouns. The subject form for I is na, and me, the object form, is none. So na, none. For example, we have ta'shit na nasa, ta'shit na nasa. And this means that I saw the rattlesnake. Ta'shit na nasa. So when we say ta'shit nan nasis, ta'shit nan nasis, that means the rattlesnake saw me. So again, ta'shit na nasa, I saw the rattlesnake. Ta'shit nan nasis, the rattlesnake saw me. Moving on to you, the subject form we have ma, object form we have mum. So lanyat ma bu'a, lanyat ma bu'a. And this means you heard red-tailed hawk. Lanyat ma bu'a. And below it we have lanyat bu'mum, lanyat bu'mum. And this means that the red-tailed hawk heard you. So lanyat ma bu'a. You heard the red-tailed hawk. Lanyat bu'mum. The red-tailed hawk heard you. And also note for our word for he, she, and it is only one word. There is no separate word for he, she, or it. All three of those words are in one word. So the subject form of that is ama, and the object form is And also take note that that word for he, she, or it can be left out of the sentence. And this is just one of those exceptions in Chukchansi where you can leave it out, but you still know the meaning of that sentence, even without that word, because this is the only one that will have that pattern with. So, for example, we have ta'shit ama nan, ta'shit ama nan, and that is, it saw me. So, if we wanted to leave out ama, we would just say ta'shit nan, and that still means that it, he, or she saw me. So we can say ta'shit ama nan or ta'shit nan. Ta'shit ama nan, ta'shit nan. And both of those mean that it saw me. Same goes for this one here. We have ta'shit na ta'shit na I saw it. Ta'shit na Or we could also say ta'shit na, which would mean I saw or I saw it. So we're going to do some practicing. I'm going to go ahead and read all of these sentences first without translating them, because I would like for you to maybe once I read over all of these sentences in Chukchansi, or one at a time, maybe pause it and write down what you think it means, just from the previous videos that we have gone over with the vocabulary, and maybe recognize like, oh, which word is the verb, which word is a pronoun, and is this word in its object form or subject form, and is this one red-tailed hawk, or, just kind of practice and write down what you think it is. And once I read over these sentences once without translating them, I'll read over them one more time, and then I will go ahead and translate them for you. So we're going to start off here on this left side, and we're going to go down, and then we're going to move over to the right column, and then we'll go down from there. So starting off from the top on the left, we have ta'shit na bu'a. Ta'shit na bu'a. Moving on to the one below it, ta'shit na bonyo nasa. Ta'shit na bonyo nasa. The third one, nan ta'shit ma. Nan ta'shit ma. And the next one, ta'shit wurshala. Ta'shit wurshala. And the one after that, ta'shit wurshal. Ta'shit wurshal. Ama ta'shit mam. Ama ta'shit mam. And that was the last one in our left column. Now we're going to move on to the second one. Starting off with this one here, we have ta'shit na shopina utu'un. Ta'shit na shopina utu'un. And the one below it, lanyat ma wakaya. Lanyat ma wakaya. And the next one, lanyat na ilkaw. Lanyat na ilkaw. And the next one after that, ta'shit na dolaw. Ta'shit na dolaw. And this one here, lanyat wurshal nasa. Lanyat wurshal nasa. And the one after that, ta'shit yeta lopsoma wakayo. Ta'shit yeta lopsoma wakayo. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and read over them another time, and I'll go ahead and translate it for you. So here we have ta'shit na bu'a. I saw red-tailed hawk. Ta'shit na bu'a. And the one below this, we have ta'shit na bonyo nasa. Ta'shit na bonyo nasa. I saw 2 rattlesnakes. Nan ta'shit ma. Nan ta'shit ma. You saw me. Nan ta'shit ma. And next one here, we have ta'shit wurshala. Ta'shit wurshala. And as you'll notice, we're missing a particular word, and that word is the word for he, she, or it. So this would mean that it saw eagle. Ta'shit wurshala. Ta'shit wurshala. And again, we have a similar sentence, but we have the eagle now in its subject form. So this would mean ta'shit wurshal, that eagle saw it. Ta'shit wurshal. Eagle saw it. And for our last one in the left column, we have ama ta'shit mam. Ama ta'shit mam. And that is, it saw you. Ama ta'shit mam. Moving on to our right column, we have ta'shit na shopina utu'un. Ta'shit na shopina utu'un. And this means that I saw 3 trees. Ta'shit na shopina utu'un. And moving on to the one below that, we have lanyat ma wakaya. Lanyat ma wakaya. You heard the river. Lanyat ma wakaya. And moving on, lanyat na ilkaw. Lanyat na ilkaw. And this means that I heard it in the water. Lanyat na ilkaw. Okay, so moving on to the one below that, we have ta'shit na dolaw. Ta'shit na dolaw. And this means that I saw it on the mountain. I saw it on the mountain. Or I saw her on the mountain. I saw him on the mountain. Okay, next one after that we have Lanyat wurshel nasa. Lanyat wurshel nasa. Eagle heard the rattlesnake. Lanyat wurshel nasa. And our last one here, we have Tashit yeta lopsoma wakayaw. Tashit yeta lopsoma wakayaw. And this is, you saw one fish in the river. Tashit yeta lopsoma wakayaw. Tashit yeta lopsoma wakayaw. You saw one fish in the river. Okay, so moving on to our harmonic stems. For me personally, these were the most easy for me to catch on because I could recognize the pattern quickly. So I hope that these are easy for you as well as they were for me. I had more of a hard time kind of memorizing the I stems and the A stems. But let's go ahead and go over these. So for H stems, you'll recognize that there's a pattern. So when we have this word, which is in its subject form, this is our word for dog, is checha. You'll notice that the very last letter here is a vowel, and that's the vowel A. So whenever you have a word that ends in a vowel, you just, in order to get the object form, you tack on that same vowel followed by an N. So here we have checha, and to get its object form, we just add an A and an N. So checha, chechaan. That's for dog. So same for our word for stink bug, which is siksika. And if we want to get the object form, we can look at the end of this word and we see that it's an A. So we know that the object form is also going to be an A followed by an N. So siksika, siksikaan. Siksika, siksikaan. That's for stink bug. So for sourberry, our word is tachati, tachati. And that very last vowel in this word is the E, is our I. So it'll get an I followed by an N. Tachatiin. So tachati, tachatiin. And you'll notice that it's kind of like a harmonious sound because we have tachati, tachatiin. And it gets that same sound followed by that N. So tachati, tachatiin. And also the same for bear, our word for bear, noho. And that last vowel is an O, so its object form is also going to get an O followed by an N. Noho, nohoon, noho, nohoon. For bear. And for tree, utu, utuun, utu, utuun. For coyote, ka'yu, ka'yuun, ka'yu, ka'yuun. So there's that U. That's the last vowel here on this word. So it's going to get that same vowel followed by an N. Ka'yu, ka'yuun. For bead, bekewa, bekewa. And there's that last vowel. This one's an A. So we know that the object form is going to have an A followed by an N. Bekewa, bekewaan, bekewa, bekewaan. And for hummingbird, we have demaisu, demaisu, demaisuun, demaisuun. So we have that U at the very end of this word, so we know that we're going to get another U followed by an N. Demaisu, demaisuun. And for cricket, joltjona, joltjonaan, joltjona, joltjonaan. Okay, so with the vocabulary that we've learned so far with our couple verbs and some of the nouns and pronouns, let's go ahead and practice some of these words or these sentences. So maybe when you read these sentences, you can just pause the video and then see if you can kind of write out or translate what you know from this sentence in English and then translate it into Chukchansi, whatever you can. It doesn't have to be the whole thing, even if it's just the first word for I. If you remember that word for I, go ahead and write it down and kind of just plug in everything that you know. So you can go ahead and pause that, write them down, and then I'm going to go ahead and translate these sentences into Chukchansi. So, I saw a dog would be Tashit na chechaan. Tashit na chechaan. And if we want to say that the stink bug sees me, we'll say Siksika tashit nan. Siksika tashit nan. And if I want to say I see a stink bug, we'll say Tashit na siksikaan. Tashit na siksikaan. Coyote hears a cricket. Ka'yu lanyat juljonaan. Ka'yu lanyat juljonaan. And if we want to say the bear sees beads, we'll say Noho tashit bekewaan. Noho tashit bekewaan. So you'll notice that this word here, ta'ashan, it kind of looks or sounds similar to tashit, which is the word to saw or to have seen something. So ta'ashan is also to see, but this form of the word for to see is like looking. So ta'ashan is looking. So we have ka'yu and checha. So this sentence reads ta'ashan chechaan ka'yu. Ta'ashan chechaan ka'yu. So this translates to coyote is looking at dog. Ta'ashan chechaan ka'yu. So ta'ashan is the word for looking. Chechaan is the object form of dog, whereas ka'yu, he's doing the looking, so this is the subject. Ta'ashan chechaan ka'yu. So if we wanted to reverse that, if we want to say that the dog is looking at coyote, we will say ta'ashan checha ka'yu'un. Ta'ashan checha ka'yu'un. But this sentence here reads ta'ashan checha'an ka'yu. That coyote is looking at the dog. And moving on to this slide here, we have sa'iin tashit gadu. Sa'iin tashit gadu. And this translates to the cat saw the feather. So sa'i is our word for feather. And you'll notice for sa'i that if we want to know the subject form, you'll see here that this I is the last vowel of this word. So in its object form, it is followed by that same vowel, the I, and then the N. So sa'i, subject form of feather, sa'iin, object form of feather. So let's go ahead and read this one more time. Sa'iin tashit gadu. Sa'iin tashit gadu. And our gadu is doing the looking. So gadu is the subject of the sentence. So here we have khatit kand'en huya. Khatit kand'en huya. And khatit is our word for ate. So have to have eaten something. Khatit. And kande, that's our word for candy, and huya is our word for caterpillar. So khatit kand'en huya. And this means that the caterpillar ate candy. Khatit kand'en huya. So here we have our siksika and we have our walapsu. So this first sentence here, this says siksika tashit walapsu'un. Siksika tashit walapsu'un. And this means that stink bug saw butterfly. And I have the reverse of that right below it. Tashit siksikaan walapsu. Tashit siksikaan walapsu. And this means that the butterfly saw stink bug. So siksika and walapsu, those are both H stems. They're both harmonic stems. So siksika, that last vowel is an A. So it's going to turn into siksika, siksikaan. So A, A-N. And for walapsu, walapsu, walapsuun. Walapsu, walapsuun. So it gets that U, followed by a U, and then N. So let's read over these sentences one more time. Siksika tashit walapsuun. Siksika tashit walapsuun. The stink bug saw butterfly. And the one below it, tashit siksikaan walapsu. Tashit siksikaan walapsu. The butterfly saw stink bug. All right, and for this one here, we have gaina tashit utuun. Gaina tashit utuun. And this is that the chicken saw the tree. Gaina tashit utuun. All right, so this will conclude our video on harmonic stems. I hope that this was helpful for you. And I hope that you'll be able to recognize that pattern. Like I said, for me, I really enjoy the harmonic stems because it's really fun to kind of see that pattern and see recognize which vowel is the end of which word, and then, okay, that must be a harmonic stem because it gets that vowel then followed by the same vowel and an N. But like I said, I just hope that this was helpful for you, and I look forward to having you guys watch the next video. Yeah.